And so for the past 4 years, I have gone on a slightly different direction from the spiritual psychology that I was taught. And I've come into a space where I embrace spiritual psychology in a much deeper way, much deeper than what was taught to me previously, and work on deeper stuff. And I'm not saying that I'm clear of all my issues, certainly not, but I am making headways. At one point, I felt like something was terribly wrong. Internally, it didn't feel right for me to just use spiritual psychology to change the way I think. And, you know, so I share this because I'm extremely passionate. I'm someone who's extremely passionate about personal development, about spiritual growth, about spirituality. I am also very passionate about the ascension process. But I discourage any form of shortcuts to the ascension process. We really need to do the right thing for ourselves. If we have been on a spiritual path for 20 years, 10 years, then why not go deeper? Why not do more? Why not work on ourselves more? We deserve that. All right. So, highly recommend the book, Spiritual Bypassing When Spirituality Disconnects Us from What Really Matters. The author, once again, Robert Augustus Masters. Get hold of that book. I don't get any commission promoting the book, but I feel it's an important one. Okay. So we need that balance where it is necessary for us to have our spiritual practices, but we also need to have that space, safe space, and to work on our deep issues. They're not going to go away. They never will, unless we dig them out, look at them, turn them upside down, flip them here and there, look at everything, and then we can grow. Now, it is extremely tricky to talk about this subject because if you look at the spiritual community, right? Whatever spiritual community that you are in, the people in your community, the chances of them believing this concept, even if you were to share with them that, telling them maybe you need to see a therapist, maybe you need to see a counselor, maybe you need to see a life coach that does deeper work. Even if you say all that to them, they would find it very, very hard to follow your stream of thought, because the organizations, the institutions of spirituality, whether it's New Age, whether it's religion, believe in their power so much, believe in the miracle of healing so much. I'm not saying that the miracle of healing doesn't exist. Of course they exist. But because there is such a deep belief system in that many people are not going to be open to the idea that they really need to work on, for lack of a better word, work on their shit. And so you may come into resistance, even if you come to a point where you have learned, you have grown, and you want to speak about it to people, you want to encourage people because you found your truth and you found what works or what doesn't work for you. You're going to face a lot of resistance, and this is something you need to accept as well. Okay, so, and this is the reason why I've said this from classes from beginning of the year. This is the reason why on this planet that we live in, our spiritual hierarchy is not making their energies so well known anymore. The energies are not so pronounced. We no longer call them masters, we call them teachers. So there's an a whole set of different strategies that are coming into play now within our spiritual community, within the earth's realm, within the spiritual hierarchy. There's a different strategy at play because it hasn't worked, unfortunately. You know, all the talk about higher energies, ascension activations, all the spiritual growth and connected to ascension activations and all of that helping us to grow spiritually hasn't really worked. When I say hasn't worked, what I meant is it hasn't taken a person from position A to position B where they are truly more enlightened. But what it has done is that it has activated these energies in people to attract more lessons to themselves. And what this means is people are being confronted with more lessons than ever and not knowing how to deal with them. All right. So as I've said at the beginning of this year, some of you attended the classes that, 2019 is really a year of change, and we're almost coming to the end of the year. Then we need to ask ourselves, where are we then? 2019, towards the end of 2019, this is supposed to be the year of change. What is 2020 going to bring to us? How are we going to grow and make progress, right? So you need to start now, is what I'm saying, because in 2020, the energies are moving towards creating a new future. And by 2021, if we have not worked on our garbage, it's going to be so confrontational in 2021, like never before. Okay, absolutely like never before. And you're going to be, and unfortunately, you may see more of this happening by 2021 if spiritual people don't get on the bandwagon and do the right thing. The fears that they are going to confront in 2021 is going to be quite harrowing for many people, because they've been trying to run away from their problems and they're not doing the deep work. And so the inner demons within them is going to surface 2021. And I'm not sharing this to scare you. You have time, right? It's 2019, you're 2020, you still have time to start working on your stuff. For people who are just using spiritual bypassing, right? They're not working on this stuff. They will be confronted, okay, with that really dark stuff. And you will find many people also on the spiritual path going off the deep end. You will find many very disillusioned. And already, we see well-known people not being able to deal with their depression, not able to deal with, stuff that's going on, and they've taken their own lives. So spiritual people, this may happen to spiritual people as well. And we're talking about some of the more well-known spiritual people as well, who have been just bypassing, all right? Because the energies are not going to be so kind. It's going to force the inner demons to surface. And if we don't work on them now, this is where we can fall into a trap, a big, big trap. This is one of the biggest traps for the New Age movement, for religion. And I think I've mentioned this before, and I just